One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. These words, spoken by the great psychologist Carl Jung, cut to the heart of a profound truth about human nature, a truth that many find unsettling, even frightening. We are drawn to the light. We crave positivity, happiness, and success. We strive to be our best selves, to present a polished image to the world. But what about the parts of ourselves we'd rather keep hidden? The anger, the envy, the selfishness, the fears that whisper in the shadows of our minds. What about the impulses we deem unacceptable, the thoughts we quickly push away? For generations, we've been taught to fear these darker aspects of ourselves, to see them as flaws, as weaknesses to be overcome, or even as evidence of some inherent brokenness within us. But what if I told you that this dark side, this shadow self, is not something to be feared, but rather a key to unlocking your true potential? Join me as we uncover the wisdom within the shadows and discover why your dark side is, in fact, your friend. 1. The shadow and the unconscious. To understand the shadow, we must first venture into the realm of the unconscious. Imagine an iceberg. The tip glistening above the water represents our conscious mind, our thoughts, feelings, and actions that we are aware of. But beneath the surface lies a vast hidden mass, the unconscious. This submerged realm, according to Jung, is a reservoir of instincts, memories, and experiences that lie beyond our immediate awareness. It's where our dreams originate, where our deepest fears and desires reside, and where the shadow finds its home. The shadow, in Jungian terms, is not simply the bad parts of ourselves. It's the entirety of the unconscious personality, everything that we have disowned, rejected, or simply failed to recognize. It's the collection of traits, impulses, and tendencies that we deem incompatible with our ideal self-image, with the persona we present to the world. Think about it. From a young age, we are taught what is acceptable and unacceptable, what is good and bad. We learn to suppress certain emotions, to conform to social norms, to fit in. In the process, we inevitably push aside aspects of ourselves that don't align with these expectations. These rejected parts, these unlived potentials, coalesce into the shadow. Perhaps you were once a free-spirited child, full of wild energy and imagination, but were told to settle down and behave. Maybe you harbored a deep passion for art, but were encouraged to pursue a more practical career path. Or perhaps you felt a surge of anger or jealousy that you quickly buried, ashamed of these negative emotions. These denied aspects of ourselves don't simply disappear. They remain within us, lurking in the shadows of our unconscious. And they can manifest in various ways. Perhaps you find yourself inexplicably irritable or judgmental towards others who embody the very qualities you have repressed. Maybe you struggle with recurring anxieties or fears that seem to have no rational basis. Or perhaps you find yourself drawn to certain behaviors or situations that contradict your conscious values. These are all whispers from the shadow, attempting to communicate, to be acknowledged, to be integrated back into the wholeness of your being. But why do we resist this integration? Why do we fear the shadow so much? 2. The importance of integration. Now, you might be thinking, if these shadow aspects are so unpleasant, why not just get rid of them? Why not strive to eliminate them completely? But here's the crucial point. The shadow is inseparable from the whole. It's like trying to remove darkness from light or silence from sound. They define each other. Jung believed that the psyche, the totality of our being, strives for wholeness. And this wholeness can only be achieved by integrating all aspects of ourselves, including the shadow. Trying to suppress or deny the shadow is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes tremendous energy, and eventually, it will inevitably pop back up, often in unexpected and unwelcome ways. So what happens when we embrace the shadow, when we bring it into the light of consciousness? First and foremost, we cultivate self-acceptance. We begin to understand that we are not simply the sum of our idealized qualities, but complex beings with a full spectrum of emotions and experiences. This acceptance, in turn, fosters compassion, both for ourselves and for others. We become less judgmental, more understanding of the human condition. Furthermore, integrating the shadow unlocks immense potential for personal growth. By confronting our fears, insecurities, and limitations, we gain the opportunity to work through them, to learn from them, and ultimately, to transcend them. We become more resilient, more capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and wisdom. And perhaps most surprisingly, the shadow can be a powerful catalyst for creativity. Those hidden desires, those suppressed passions, those unlived potentials, they hold a wealth of inspiration. By tapping into the energy of the shadow, we can access a deeper well of imagination, intuition, and authentic expression. But how do we actually go about integrating the shadow? It's a journey of self-discovery that can take many forms. Self-reflection is essential. Taking time to honestly examine our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without judgment. Journaling can be a powerful tool for this, allowing us to explore our inner landscape and identify recurring patterns. Dream analysis, a cornerstone of Jungian psychology, offers a window into the unconscious. Our dreams often speak in the language of symbols and metaphors, revealing hidden aspects of ourselves and providing valuable insights. And of course, therapy can provide a safe and supportive space to explore the shadow with the guidance of a trained professional. A therapist can help us navigate difficult emotions, understand the origins of our shadow patterns, and develop strategies for integration. The path of shadow integration is not always easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. But the rewards are immeasurable. 3. The dark side as a source of creativity. Now let's explore one of the most fascinating aspects of the shadow, its potential to fuel creativity. Imagine the shadow as a wellspring of raw, unfiltered energy, a source of primal emotions and instinctual drives. It's the realm of the untamed imagination, where conventional rules and limitations can be transcended. By tapping into the shadow, artists, writers, and musicians can access a deeper well of inspiration. They can channel those repressed desires, those hidden fears, those unacknowledged aspects of themselves into powerful works of art that resonate with others on a profound level. Think of the painter who confronts their own inner darkness, their anxieties and vulnerabilities, and transforms them into a hauntingly beautiful masterpiece. Or the writer who delves into the depths of their own shadow to craft characters that are complex, flawed, and utterly compelling. Consider the musician who channels their repressed anger or grief into a soul-stirring melody, or the dancer who expresses their deepest longings through movement that is both raw and graceful. Throughout history, countless creative individuals have drawn inspiration from their shadows. Take, for instance, the visionary painter Francisco Goya, whose haunting images often depicted the darker aspects of human nature, reflecting his own struggles with mental illness and social unrest. Or consider the iconic writer Fyodor Dostoevsky, whose novels explored the depths of human psychology, delving into themes of guilt, redemption, and the struggle between good and evil, often drawing from his own experiences with epilepsy and imprisonment. Even the beloved children's author Maurice Sendak, creator of Where the Wild Things Are, acknowledged the influence of his shadow on his work. He famously said, "I refuse to lie to children. I don't believe in childhood. I don't believe that there's a demarcation." His stories, while fantastical, often touched on themes of anger, fear, and loneliness, resonating with children and adults alike. These examples illustrate how the shadow, when embraced and integrated, can be a powerful catalyst for creative expression. It allows artists to tap into a deeper level of authenticity, to explore the full spectrum of human experience, and to create works that are both meaningful and transformative. 4. The potential dangers of ignoring the shadow. But what happens when we ignore the shadow? What are the consequences of denying these hidden aspects of ourselves? Jung believed that a repressed shadow doesn't simply disappear. It festers in the unconscious, gaining power and influence, and can ultimately manifest in destructive ways. Think of it like a pressure cooker. If we continually suppress our anger, fear, or resentment, these emotions build up inside, like steam trapped within the confines of the pot. Eventually, the pressure becomes too great, and the cooker explodes, releasing its contents in an uncontrolled and potentially harmful way. Similarly, when we ignore our shadow, it can erupt into our lives in unexpected and often unpleasant ways. We might find ourselves overreacting to minor situations, projecting our own unresolved issues onto others, or engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors. In extreme cases, a repressed shadow can lead to more serious psychological problems. Unresolved trauma, buried deep within the unconscious, can manifest as anxiety disorders, depression, or even physical ailments. History provides numerous examples of individuals who suffered the consequences of an unintegrated shadow. Consider the tragic case of Adolf Hitler, whose unchecked rage and deep-seated insecurities fueled his rise to power and ultimately led to the devastation of World War II. Or think of the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy, whose charming persona masked a deeply disturbed psyche, driven by repressed desires and violent impulses. These are, of course, extreme examples, but they serve as stark reminders of the potential dangers of ignoring the shadow. When we fail to acknowledge and integrate these hidden aspects of ourselves, they can wreak havoc on our lives and the lives of those around us. 5. Embracing the dark side. Now, I understand that the idea of embracing your dark side might seem daunting, even counterintuitive. We've been conditioned to fear these aspects of ourselves, to see them as something to be avoided or overcome. But I want to assure you that embracing the shadow does not mean condoning or acting out on negative impulses. It's not about giving in to our anger, jealousy, or greed. It's about acknowledging these emotions, understanding their origins, and integrating them into the wholeness of our being. It's about recognizing that these shadow aspects are a part of us, just as much as our kindness, compassion, and love. Think of a wild horse. It's powerful, untamed, and potentially dangerous. But with patience, understanding, and skilled training, that wild energy can be harnessed, transformed into a source of strength and beauty. Similarly, when we embrace our shadow, we're not giving it free rein to run rampant. We're learning to work with it, to understand its power, and to channel its energy in constructive ways. This requires a delicate balance, acknowledging the shadow without identifying with it, accepting its presence without allowing it to dictate our actions. It's about taking responsibility for our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, even the ones we'd rather not acknowledge. It's about recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to our shadow impulses, that we are not simply victims of our unconscious drives. This process of integration is not always easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. But the rewards are immeasurable. By embracing our shadow, we open ourselves to a deeper level of self-awareness, authenticity, and personal growth. we become more whole, more integrated, more capable of living a life that is true to our authentic selves. We discover that the shadow, once feared and rejected, can become a powerful ally on our journey towards wholeness and fulfillment. As we conclude this exploration of the shadow, I invite you to reflect on your own journey of self-discovery. What aspects of yourself have you been denying or suppressing? What hidden potentials are waiting to be unleashed? Remember, the shadow is not something to be feared, but rather an integral part of who you are. By embracing it, integrating it, and learning from it, you can unlock a deeper level of authenticity, creativity, and personal fulfillment. If this exploration of Jungian psychology has resonated with you, I encourage you to delve deeper. Explore the works of Carl Jung himself, such as Man and His Symbols or Psychology and Alchemy. Seek out the guidance of a qualified therapist who can support you on your journey of self-discovery. And if you found this video insightful, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel for more explorations of psychology, philosophy, and personal growth. Share this video with others who might benefit from this knowledge, and leave a comment below sharing your own thoughts and experiences with the shadow.